Welcome to Not Milk Never Milk. Subscribe if you're lactose intolerant.
You begin by confirming compatibility and making a full backup. You cannot recover data after a RAID changes. Once done, power down, seat the RAID chip in the proper PCIe slot, and attach drives to the controller ports so mapping is clear. Boot into the RAID BIOS or UEFI utility immediately. You need to document existing arrays and drive ID before creating or modifying configurations. This first pass prevents accidental rebuilds and gives you the exact identifiers required for the next step. You now select the RAID level that balances performance and redundancy for your workload. Choose RAID 5 or 6 for redundancy, RAID 0 for speed if you accept risk. Then set stripe size and cache policy. Larger stripe sizes favor large sequential transfers, while smaller sizes help small files. Add a hot spare if you want automatic rebuilds. Initialize the array and let the controller create metadata. Make sure to note drive order and estimated rebuild time, because that affects future maintenance and capacity planning. You finish by installing the controller drivers and vendor monitoring tools so the operating system sees the array and you receive health alerts. Once drivers are loaded, run consistency checks and a controlled read/write test to confirm performance and integrity, monitor temperatures, and rebuild progress. If the array does not mount, stop, check cable ID, controller logs, and disk activity lights before reinitializing metadata, because reinitialization can destroy data. As a key tip, never write new data to drives.
Thanks for watching. If this was helpful, leave a like and consider subscribing. See you next time.